And we are back here at the Esports Stadium, Arlington. This is the U.S. Army Presents Reload Collegiate CSGO Invitational. Make sure you visit GoArmy.com to explore 150 possible career opportunities. John, it's been fun, as I just sprinted, so that's why I'm.
Yeah, I thought you were trying to hand it off to me there. I was getting ready. Corey wasn't here yet, as the last C was wrong, so I was practicing my go to Army.U. Oh shoot! See, that's why I was practicing, because that happens. It was gonna start off something like that, but Corey, let's take a left turn here and get out of that one, and let's talk about the match we haven't had.
This is 100,000 square feet of esports facility. So
yeah, and you were on the exact opposite side.
Yeah,
so you sprinted here very quickly.
Yeah. So, well, with all that said, let's go ahead and kind of talk a little bit about what we've seen so far throughout this tournament. We've seen some pretty crazy matches, but now we've been in Group H, and we've seen UTD. They beat FGCU 16-9 the first time these two had fought against each other. And then after that, we had Kansas State versus UTA. That was a 16-6. Then Kansas State just been playing. They played so well in Group H. They won that one 16-7. Of course, we also saw Pure Penguins. He shared his, or Rob on his behalf had shared the picture of the 5 Penguins that we asked for, the 5 CTs, and of course they were all labeled for his team as well. And then now we saw FGCU beat UTA 2-0, and that brings us into our final match. And so we've got UTD versus FGCU. John, let's kind of talk a little bit about UTD and how this roster looks. And so before we dive into this matchup, kind of run us through these players here.
So one important thing to note, we are seeing a sub. We see Death Hood coming out in the place of ASOS. So in my mind, that's a very important sub, namely because one, ASOS was the guy who was the top of the leaderboards for UTD.
Yep.
And two, every time we've seen a sub come out for any team throughout this tournament, they've been that X factor. They've been that thing that took the team to the next step.
Correct.
With that said, against FGCU, ASOS had an absolute standout performance and really was the top fragger, as we mentioned. And so I would hope that Death Hood is that next level that's even better, that pushes this team further. And so they have that same success, obviously. Maybe a little bit of bias coming out for me, as I am a UTD alumni, but looking at this lineup here, it's all faces we're familiar with. Alloy, I'm sure he's trying to shake off that match on Nuke against Kansas State, and he was 0-15, or like 0-14 going into the half. He padded some stats towards the end, so it didn't seem so bad, but that was definitely rough on his side. So that says, we talked through UTD, we hope to see the same success from Death Hood coming in as the sub for ASOS. So now let's go ahead and look over at the FGCU. I said the FGCU. It's really just Florida Gulf Coast University, as we always keep poking around, as we see all familiar faces there. So some things to note, Faya is a great fragger.
Yes.
We have some questions whether he should be the AWP or not, and we've seen a lot of great success with him in the scout. Parker is actually coming alive towards the end as well, and I think Wad is pretty consistent throughout. So they've got some great players on their team. I think there's just sometimes where they seem a little out of sync, a little disorganized, and so if they're able to wrap that up, I think this can be a pretty decent series against UTD.
Yeah, in the second map against UTA, Parker was starting to showcase why he was a good opper. But I think like Faya has really done that the same token. I don't think that he should be a secondary or even a third opper for his team. I think he actually should probably be the opper for Florida Gulf Coast, and more importantly because I see Parker as well. I saw what Parker was doing with the AK, and it was nutty. Something that I felt like, that's a player that could definitely be substantial there. And I would have flipped if it was me and looking at this roster, I would flip those two roles. Because I think you've got some standout players in that regard. As you mentioned, Wad had some really good rounds. Terror had some rounds as well. That was really nice. And Greatness, he found himself in some really unique positions. And some fights he won, some fights he didn't. So I think overall you've got a really good team here that are just kind of, but they are kind of all over the place on how their tactics are, what they're doing, how they're doing it. But again, my last note that again I'll share is that I would swap Parker and Faya on their opper roles. So that's our teams that we'll have in the final best of 3 matchup for the tournament for group play. So now we look at it. FGCU, they banned Train to start, and then after that UTD they banned Vertigo. And that they ended up selecting our 2 favorite maps. FGC decides to choose Mirage, and so it'll be our first matchup of this best of 3. And then after that, we'll have Overpass. Will be our next matchup.
So I don't think there's any surprise that we're seeing a nuke ban. I think if anything surprising is that we're seeing Mirage and Overpass being the first 2 maps. As we saw, Overpass was played in the very first time, 16-9 in favor of UTD. There's been some time in between. Something I'm very happy to see is actually the Dust 2 is Decider over Nuke. So with that said, I think it's smart that UTD bans that one out. I figured they might have tried to do it a little bit earlier, but they got Train and Vertigo out first. So Mirage and Overpass, Corey, you named it. Those are the 2 maps we've seen the absolute most in this tournament. And as I flip to my notes here, we've seen both of these maps. For Mirage, this is going to mark number 15. We'll see it. And then Overpass marks number 14. So we should really call this the U.S. Army Presents Mirage and Overpass CSGO tournament.
Pretty much. It is a constant reload of these 2 maps.
Whoa, nice.
So we'll... Oh, man. It's been fun. We're at 50-plus matches that we've been covering today. Or not just today. These past.
Oh, man. If it was today, my hair would not be contained by this headset.
These past
right now.
8 days we've done over 50-plus matches. And so this will bring us into, again, our final best of 3 matchup in a group play. As tomorrow we'll kick off our playoff bracket, which I am super stoked about. I'm going to get a good night's rest as well before we kick off tomorrow and watch some really, really good games. Or play Valorant probably
Yeah, I was about to
One
say,
of those 2 things are going to happen. I'm either going to get good rest or I'm going to be playing Valorant.
or you're going to be busy while I ask you to play Valorant as you are playing competitive Valorant without me.
That's probably a likely chance that might happen too. But I'll reply. Don't worry. I'll let you know if
like
I'm
you
playing.
did last time.
Yeah, exactly. John, it's been fun.
Yeah,
It's been fun.
It
Yeah,
has.
yep.
I can't disagree to that. It has been fun.
It's always funny because this is how we are all the time anyway.
Just because there's a camera here, this dynamic is absolutely the same. Corey roasts me even more actually without the camera. So I have to thank all of you at home for keeping Corey. He's normally up here, and then he's been right around here. So every time he has had a response to me, I just give him the smile, and that's how we move forward with those conversations. Because I've learned a very valuable lesson with talking to you and now casting with you is that whenever you're feeling it and you start roasting me, it's best that I just get away. I didn't have my hot mitts on, and I'm gonna get burned if I get any closer.
That's right.
So I touched the pan once. I noticed it was hot. I was like, okay, I'm gonna wait for it to cool down, and I'll try coming back next time.
That's what we've told multiple players in this entire group play that fire is hot. So I'm happy that you've learned that. Yes, you have. So we're waiting for the players to finalize inside of the server. We're almost there. We've got, again, FGCU and UTD. Their first map will be on Mirage. As we take a look, we've seen a lot of good gameplay on Mirage. Of course, we've also seen a lot of Mirage as well. This will be our, as you said, I think you said this will be our 15th time?
This is the 14th time with Overpass being the 5th. Oh, no, you're sorry. You're correct. This is 15 and Overpass is 14.
Yeah, pay attention to what you say.
Oh, thanks.
Gives me more ammo to roast you with. All right, so now we've got, looks like UTD will be starting off on the counter-terrorist side. And we've got FGCU, as I see the V logo looking thing.
Well, you called a Y a U earlier, so
hey,
I think that whole letter is that
letters are difficult.
Yes, they absolutely are. As we've heard me try to pronounce things throughout this entire time. Prospection. Haha, got it. First try.
All right, now you're going to be heading out here towards the A bomb site. Full-on attack from FGCU. And Faya is just going to chase after this one. Alloy has Alloy as they're starting to work here towards the bomb sites. Their tricks with another one. They're doing a good job on this retake. Can it be another one? Yes, and YKZ picks himself up on it. Oh, that's the second, and Parker is nowhere to be found, and this bomb will be defused, and UTD will pick up the very first round, and Parker, okay, they're just going to feed him for a second, as now UTD again takes the first round. Alloy, you know, I'm a big fan. He's able to get onto the board fast, and that was what his challenge was whenever we were playing Kansas State on Nuke. He's not only got a kill in the first half, he's got a kill in the very first round.
So once again, I want to keep an eye on Death Hood. He was the player that replaced ASOS. And we saw ASOS, now that I think about it, ASOS was the player who kind of never played with his team in a sense. I'm sure there was some direction there for him to do that. He was always the player we saw flanking or way out there on the bomb site or going to essentially the other bomb site. And that's what, oh, look at this. FGCU is actually forced into this round, and Alloy's going to find the pick, and he's going to call that out. He says, hey, that was a rifle just shooting at me now. They forced into this round, and they see one coming out of A, but the bomb is actually into the apartments, and that's going to cause, okay, it is not causing a full rotation. He's just getting out into a different position now.
Yeah, I think Alloy is, he's a really big fan of the CT side on any map. Because he holds really tight, he holds really good angles, and he's very patient with the way he plays. And so now Sir Trix is spotted one. There's your first little fire bomb, and the scout has been brought out by Faya. Faya is just looking to see if anybody decides to just jump up and oh man. And he's going to have to back out of that one again. So that's going to slow him down even further as he's trying to get this peek here and the quick follow-up. That's a great move. Good combo action coming in. And now Death Hood will learn a lot about him right here as he picks up 2. And now Parker is working out here inside of the A bomb site. Alloy is not peeked out yet. And they've got the bomb in YKZ, who is watching in window, finds one in connector. And now Faya.
There's 7 seconds left. I guarantee you they're going to go and try to pick up that AK. At least get these rifles. And that was, remember, that was a force. We did mention that. That's the second round on the board here. Yeah, look at that. They're trying to get the AK, and they were able to get... Oh, they were not. They got the FAMAS. Well, they picked up something towards the end. So Faya's going to save that scout. He's got $150 to his name.
I think Adolfo's going to pick up, yep, he's got an M4 there, and then a YKZ with the FAMAS. All right, let's stay on board with Faya with his Blood Shark Scout. Oh, the nades come in. Adolfo's now going to have to backtrack. They're coming up connector fast. Oh, they're actually going towards window fast. And Adolfo's going to have to defend himself, but he's got his teammate to be able to support him from catwalk. That's Alloy. Oh, and Death Hood raining in the grenade. And that's going to be 3-0 now. I do appreciate how fast they tried to attack Adolfo in the window. But Death Hood and Alloy did a really good job on being able to collapse and help his teammate out inside of mid.
So now that one round that Faya saved the scout, he now has to be on a UMP, whereas his team has rifles and the AWP now in the hands of Parker. We've seen he likes to get that gun out as soon as possible. Pretty much any opportunity that he can, but okay, we saw that. That was an important call out right there. So we saw that last round in which he got that pick onto Cram, the
correct.
other
You're
AWP.
right. You're right.
Death Hood this time is watching that angle. He pushes out from the smoke, and now that Parker's completely out of the round.
Yeah, so far, I mean, what I've seen from Death Hood, I'm a big fan of. So we'll now see YKZ ADing now. He's going to go ahead and fall back a little bit, just slow them down. And Alloy, that was actually in Palace. And Death Hood and Alloy both fall as Death Hood was inside of window. And now you've got YKZ. Actually, the bomb is down where Adolfo's, I think he may have either spotted one or taken out one over there by the A ramp. That's going to do it as Wad falls. 4-0 now.
Oh.
And YKZ picks up the AWP, tosses it over to Adolfo.
Yeah, he sure does, and that's going to feel good. That's going to just pat the money even more. Walking away with 3 rifles, one of those being an op, that's a commanding 4-0 now for UTD. Is once again, the money is in not good shape from FGCU, and that's what it looks like after you force into round number 2 and lose. As well as
they're pushing it quick.
He's just going to throw a grenade. I'm saying, hey, we know you're coming, and that's actually a grenade stack that doesn't connect. As Sir Trix is just having a field day, but it's getting taken out by Faya, and then YKZ and Death Hood are able to get the last 2. So 5 on the board for UTD. Corey, I think we've been in this match for, it seems like 2 minutes.
It's been pretty darn close to that. I mean, we started the top of the show, filled for a little bit. It's been pretty fast. I'd say we're probably here at 5 minutes or so.
And Death Hood, something to note, he is 7-2 with his teammate YKZ is 7-0. So it seems like whatever he's adding to this team, certainly keeping them in touch. I will say they did look very good to start against this FCU or FGCU on Overpass, but I will say now that on this map, they're once again looking very strong as they find one pick at mid, and Deathhood gets traded off.
So one of the things that's happening from UTD is they're actually taking mid control. FGCU, when we were watching him in the previous matchup, they had mid control. And that's one of the things that UTD is doing right now is they've taken over mid control, and they're doing it every single round. They have variables that are coming into play. They've got one player in connector, one player in window, one player watching catwalk, and they continue to collapse and exchange and doing a really good job there. So that's forcing them to have to push towards the outskirts, which is A ramp or towards B apartments, which we've seen the B apartments execute several times. And so this time, Sir Trix has found himself one, but he does get traded. Oh, Greatness finding the opening. And that's exactly what they need, is the bomb's going to get planted here inside of the B bomb site.
I can imagine if Sir Trix, he wishes he had that moment back. Maybe didn't pull the trigger as fast as he did, but 2v3 retake now coming for Alloy and Eldafo. He's helped you a lot in this tournament, Corey, but let's see how much he can help his team here. He has the AWP in hand. He's getting a little confused. He's completely surrounded. It doesn't even know it. It's 5-1 now. FGCU gets their first round on the board. They're able to conserve some of their money, and they do not pick up that AWP for Parker.
Yeah, looking at it, seeing if, yep, I was waiting to see if Wad was going to pick up another weapon here, but you see the quick movement there. Good reaction by Greatness. So now 5-1, and we'll see the default setup. But look at this, YKZ getting the perfect jump. He makes his way out of it and sets himself up for catwalk. But he's in a good angle. Oh, and now he's able to have enough time to get away from that. But now Deathhood taking so much damage. He does stay alive. Of course, Deathhood is actually, I think he was challenging over towards air, and then there you go, Terror spots YKZ inside of mid. And the exchange, Adolfo. This is all happening inside of mid. I mean, this is a mid-style map is what we're seeing. Adolfo traded. He was inside of connector, and he picked off Terror, who was in mid, T-side mid.
And then, interesting enough, Eldafo is the one sitting on the AWP. We've always seen Alloy throughout all of today sitting on that, and had a slow play on Nuke. And maybe he's not feeling as confident, or maybe Eldafo's feeling it, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. Sir Trix is keeping an eye on the apartments now as 3 players have found themselves. That grenade is going to do some damage.
Oh,
nice. It even takes down Parker, and that was the bomb. Greatness is the next one to come in line, and Faya is going to have some thoughts before he pokes out into the P250 of Eldafo. 6-1 now in favor of UTD. Money is able to build up a little bit on the side of FGCU, however, so they'll see rifles once again, and now we see a pause. I would imagine this might have something to do with Parker, considering we saw a little bit of lag spikes from him previously. We hope that all of those issues are being addressed accordingly, and hope that he's having no issues as we continue to go through this pause and diagnose the issue a little bit. Corey's looking at the chat to make sure everything's all right. 6-1. This is FGCU's map pick. Perhaps liking some of the strategies they did against UTA, which is the University of Texas at Arlington, and now they're against the University of Texas at Dallas. So maybe they're thinking close enough, right? If we were able to beat one of the UT something teams, we can beat the other UT something team.
So right now what we're having an issue with is the server actually started to, every player's all got high pings at this point, so they're trying to fix that. There's so many factors whenever it comes to players, and since we're all across the nation, I mean it could be the server, it could be one hub, one jump point could be down, and now you're being rerouted differently. There's so many different things that could come into play. It's just not fun.
Well, it is fun. It's just not fun when it goes wrong.
Yeah, having to put up with something like that. So we'll see if they are starting back up now. So it is 6-1 in favor of UTD. And we'll be paying attention to it. I mean, knowing that's something that we don't see in our UI. We don't see latency. We don't see what their pings are or anything like that. That'd be an interesting thing to add for an online tournament, because I know I know as me as a competitor, I check that on a regular basis, and the difference between 60 ping versus playing against somebody that has 15 ping, it is night and day. So that'd been interesting to add into an online tournament in the UI. I don't think the data is available though. And Adolfo catches Parker on fire, and so now they've actually delayed Alloy. They've got 3 players on CT spawn area. The bomb is getting planted. The bomb's actually planted on the front side of the bomb box. Flashbang over the top as they're starting to peek out here. And close quarter combat for Faya. He's gotten 2, and there goes YKZ. Now it's left up to Adolfo, and he's going to catch this grenade. And Faya playing that extremely well. And all 3 of those players coming through CT is a big no-no. It's hard to come out of that choke point. But again, UTD leads 6-2 right now. And it looks like they are going to be buying. Sir Trix is the only one. He's got a 5-7. And I believe Sir Trix actually plays. Oh, Alloy with a quick pick onto Parker on the A ramp.
Yeah, perhaps wasn't expecting that AWP to be there, as we've seen in the hands of Adolfo, who's playing window. So now they've swapped it back into what seems to be their primary opper. And it works out for them in this round number 9. A hit now is surely coming out from the ramp, as there's one player playing in mid. Let's be joining his team shortly, as Wad's able to find Death Hood, as he wasn't realizing he was standing in the smoke. And oh! Just ever so barely missing the ankles there of Terror, who is on 16 HP. That would have been enough. And now we see Sir Trix with that 5-7 trying to push his way in. He's able to do some good damage with it, but it's not going to be enough, as Adolfo's on a huge flank. He finds 1, and he's got to find 3 more, and he's not able to find them. Alloy, the last player surviving.
Oh no!
Actually got another chance at life due to that. And there's 2 players left. He doesn't have a kit, but he's got confidence, and he is confidently out of the round by Faya, who is on fire in this game. He is 8-5 for his team, leading the server, joined by YKZ and Death Hood. YKZ, I guess, with a better spread, being 8-4.
All right.
Round number 10. Money's looking good for FGCU.
Looks like right now they're going to try to take this AK away from Wad. And Wad is like, oh my goodness, I fell into a trap.
He absolutely did, and he didn't get a return off of it. But on the flip side, a pick was able to happen, and they find Alloy. And it seems like they're wanting to take the A site. One lone representative in Death Hood. The sub has got it all to do before his team gets there. He's checking. Oh, he's able to find the bomb, and he's able to get away. Oh, just barely. I spoke too soon. He got shot through the wood under Palace. So now it seems like YKZ is tempted to run through that smoke.
That was the AK right there from Adolfo. And the bomb will continue to tick away here, but Sir Trix is not ready for this, and he's eliminated by greatness. So YKZ, he might be playing it as if he's make them think that he's got the AK. He's holding inside the site. He does not have a kit. So
well, do they know he's there? He might try to ninja defuse.
That's what I'm saying. He might try to ninja defuse. There's nobody around him.
I think they heard it. I think it looks like they're
coming
running
back
to
quick.
It.
If he had a kit, it would have been a different story. Look at that. You can see at that halfway point right there is what it would have been if he had a defuse kit. So he would have had it if he had a kit. Oh my goodness, that's so close.
How loud is that? The defuse. I thought they were pretty far away.
Beep beep. Yeah, no, it's pretty loud. Not as loud as when the bomb gets planted, but still. Oh man.
Right. Well, behind what was almost a ninja defuse, we haven't seen that in this tournament. That's one of the things. I don't think we're going to see one. Those are incredibly rare.
We've seen people stick the bomb before, so I mean, which is not necessarily a full ninja defuse, but.
In the meantime, it seems like the bomb's going down, and Greatness just able to get it as a split-second. Death Hood decides he wants to take matters in his own hands. He's making it personal. He's going to find two. He's, misses the shot as Parker, and he almost finds a third behind that. The smoke's going to go down the side, but there's a big old gap, and Parker.
That works out in Parker's favor.
Yes, it does. Not able to hit the second swing. It's down to a one-on-one. And who else is it? But it's Faya. He's 10-5 against Death Hood, who's got 3 in the round. He doesn't have a kit. So he can play the time, but sneaking up behind him is Death Hood, and that's going to be his 4th, and that will be the round. He's going to pick up the AWP here, I'm sure. And that is 13 on the board for Death Hood. Let's see if he can find it. Maybe he doesn't want it. Maybe he's just keeping on to them. Okay, yeah, just keeping on. It's the M4 that he has. Perhaps someone didn't call it out, and they're just saying, good job. Nice, I think is the common denominator word in Counter-Strike, is nice.
It is. I've all over the world, that's what I've heard, is Counter-Strike players. And no matter what your primary language is, you hear nice.
Do you have a story for that one? I'd be curious to hear it.
That was it.
Oh, dang.
Yep.
I was hoping for like the, back when I was casting DreamHack with Anders, and we were doing the first cast with Moses actually here in Dallas, and when we talked to the Swedish players, they just
I do have another one if you want a story. We were talking about a Ninja Diffuse. One of the highest rated videos for Ninja Diffuse was an old one that I did was with Spawn. It was an SK game, and Corey sounded very different then.
Yeah, I love how you spoke in third person there. Just as an extra little spice.
Yeah, no, Corey was really excited then.
Yeah, now you're here with me, Corey. Now you're even more excited, right?
Oh yeah, no, the world's a good place.
As we see Parker getting nice shots for himself, taking out Eldafo and giving his team the bomb site, but you need a bomb before you can start planting it on the bomb site. So you got to get in within that rectangle that is the allowed planting spots, and there they go. They found themselves the position, and they will start planting now, as it looks like the two players from UTD want to work towards connector, working with one another, and that's what we like to see. So they still have to find their way forward and find these players before they can get that defuse. Thankfully, both of them have a defuse, and it looks like a player's swinging out, and he's going to find him. It's wide, and they're all going to peek together. FGCU is really coming together as a team.
Yeah, what has happened? They had a huge lead being UTD. I think if I remember correctly, it was 6-1.
It was somewhere around there. It was somewhere around there.
That lead is just dwindling now.
And so is their money, Corey. And as a saying I like to say is that's the way the cookie crumbles. And let's
so
just
Jim
see.
Carrey on Bruce Almighty.
Yep, that is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's just a great one, as it looks like we're about to see a frag movie coming out from Parker as he's just spraying towards these players in connector. Sees another one coming through, and wow, he's able to find 2. They're all there, and that's a grenade from Greatness. So good call out there. And it's the frag movie. I told you it's the frag movie.
Nice.
Oh man.
Nice play. Terror setting up. He's like, I got you, bro. I got you. He throws out the flashbang, and he just backs it up.
So if you're UTD here, you might be getting a little worried, as they're absolutely starting to feel confident. The fact that they did not have to do that. They had no reason to do that.
Backing it up.
He turns his back. He's like, smoke me. He looks at him. You saw it? He looks at flash me in, and he flashes them in. They're not blinded
they were slightly blinded. In the kill feed, we saw that they were blinded.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well.
I didn't see the flash dance, which is what you're referring to.
So the point being with all that is that they're absolutely feeling confident. There was a point you could see Parker looked at his teammates and said, "You, flash me in." And if they start playing with that level of confidence and that level of swagger, then I think UTD might have a harder battle for themselves than they thought they did coming into these series.
What did I tell you about Parker and having the AK?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. He's on 15 kills for himself. He gets taken out by Eldafo, so maybe too confident, too much of a stride. But there's Faya, and he's been looking great all series, and so it's no surprise that he's having a great performance. Eldafo, however, says, let's calm down, everyone. He finds himself a nice 2K on connector. He's going to try to smoke himself off. Oh, that was a flash, excuse me. And he wins another gunfight. He's looking for the ace.
Yeah, he's got 4. Yeah. Let's see if Eldafo can be able to pull this one off. You hear the gunfire. He doesn't need to chase after. The round is more important than the ace. You don't want to get set up for a bunch of 1v1 gunfights, and then they do. They work as a team. That was a good play there. 8-6 now. got another match pause now.
All right, Corey. As we're paused, what stories do you got for us now? So you told us about the Ninja Diffuse and Spawn, and it was an SK game. I'm sure I'll go look that one up and go down memory lane.
Yeah, YouTube, Ninja Diffuse, Spawn, and you'll find. I think it's 2007. No, that's too late. 2004.
Whoa, whoa! 16 years ago.
It's either 2004 or 2005. Whenever.
That is a long time. Holy cow.
Yeah.
16 years ago,
Yep.
2004. What was I doing in 2004? I was 9 years old. I was in 4th grade.
I was a senior in high school.
Oh, if that doesn't paint the picture for you, there you go. You wouldn't believe it, though, because our level of experience, and we're about on the same level for this whole commentary thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I know. It's just insane how much I was able to catch up to you in such a short amount of time. But I just don't have.
You spent 8 days with me now.
Oh, nice. hey, nice. Exactly. You picked me up and you brought me here. Thanks a lot, Corey. Teamwork.
Teamwork makes
And that's why we want to see in the server. But I don't have quite the stories that you do. You've told us a lot of stories, and I don't really have great stories to share. And I come from the FGC, which is the fighting game community, not Florida Gulf Coast. I come from the fighting game community, in which I have many stories that I can tell, just not on the stream, unfortunately, as that's a much different community of that to the CSGO community, as I'm sure some of the producers we have in the back, one of them specifically comes from the fighting game community as well. He probably knows some of the stories I'm talking about, and there are certainly funny ones that are for another time. But as we see, we are getting into round number 15. We have stopped the pause. Corey, was it just another server side thing we were seeing there?
Yep. Spikes again, so.
That's unfortunate. I'm sure after this game we might just try to find a new server so to make sure the players have a better experience.
Agreed.
But regardless, we're getting into this round number 15 now, and we see Deathhood with FMOS taking a pretty aggressive spot onto Palace. I don't think we've actually seen them play that position before. We saw them playing under it, and as soon as they walked in the site, they would get picked up by Faya. So maybe trying to find themselves a new strategy. Is FGCU's playing a little bit slower this time. We see one player, and that is Wad, finding himself on the B apartments, making some noise over there. There are two players that greet him, and that is Trix and YKZ. As he runs away, they're going to hit those footsteps, and as you can see, YKZ's following him through. And immediately after you hear the footstep, the utility's coming out, and it looks like the A hit is going to be here in just a few seconds. The Molotov goes down. Nice peek there from Deathhood. He's going to get one player in Palace. He's going to grab his AK, and he's going to find more, but he's going to be found first. Alloys and YKZ able to find the trades. The bomb is still in their hands, and they have smoked off the vision, so they can try to get that down. It's in greatness. He wants to find a pick, but gets found through the smoke, and it's now down to Faya. I have said so many words, and in that time, UTD's found the number 9 on the board. That ends the half at 9-6 in their favor.
Yeah, you'd expected it would have been different. 6-1 is where we were at, that we talked about earlier. It took them a while to pick up 3 more rounds. But they got there. 9-6 is still kind of a standard on Mirage, so nothing to be upset about. So we'll see how they do on the pistol round. I did not write it down. I guess that would have been UTD that won the pistol round, because that's what I just visualized.
That is correct. They won the pistol round because I remember they forced onto round 2 and then had a really bad round 3. I think, frankly, they'd lost the 5 rounds straight on their side because they forced on round 2 and then just had terrible money until essentially the first round that they won. But here we go. Coming right out of Palace's UTD saying, here we are, and Faya says, there you go. Taking 1 down.
So the reason why you don't necessarily like to attack the A bomb site on pistol round is because of the lack of utility. But they are able to get the bomb planted. And Alloy and Deathhood last alive here. Deathhood, and he's in a good spot. He could win this gunfight. And he does not, and they will get the defuse here. But yeah, again, one of the things that you're looking out for, the reason why you don't see a lot of people attack A is because you have to utilize, you have to purchase a smoke grenade or something like that, which in turn means you cannot buy a body armor or anything like that. So
sometimes the things you take for granted, right? Utility. So you look at it every time we saw an A hit last round, we saw jungle, connector, and CT ticket window specifically being smoked off. So as you mentioned it, Corey, that's a good point, is why we've always seen so many B rushes here on Mirage. So many angles to watch over, so many times to look over your shoulder. And ultimately, you have to just win those gunfights. In pistol rounds, it's kind of just a 50-50.
And they're going to try to be able to push out here again towards the A side out of Palace. Molly comes in where it's a default plant position. And he does not get the bomb planted. Now he does. Whew. He had to readjust because he was on fire before. He got away with 2 HP before he died while he was trying to plant the first time. And so FGCU getting another round, 9-8.
I have to commend FGCU for how fast they collapsed on that side. I think they were prepared for another A hit, considering how fast the rest of the team got there. Because they only found one pick to start.
Well,
they only went 1 for 1, and which is always in the favor of the terrorist side. Getting to a site for them is good, and getting the bomb down is even better. So now they've got to have. We're going to see the first gun round coming through.
Yeah, it was a full save as well, except for the flashbang that they used to get into the site. Adolfo bought a flash, he tossed it over, and that's what kind of initiated that execute. And now we're going to see a really good gun round coming in here. So 3rd round gun round is what you're wanting to see, and there's a trade that happens. Actually, it's just two different areas, so not a trade. You can see right now, Alloy's got his way up here towards the window. That's going to draw some attention, that Molotov. He makes his way into the window. Oh, YKZ he wants that back. He wants that kill. And that's going to push away Parker, and a nice little flash coming in. And YKZ catches Faya, who decided to start to push. There's actually an incendiary grenade rolling on the ground right there.
It's almost like leading him to the direction it wants to be thrown. It's like,
me.
please, put me over there. As he picks that up, and Alloy's going to join his teammate, but they haven't been joined by the bomb carrier yet, who's running towards
time.
CT. And oh my goodness, Wad is making it a little messy there, but able to find the pick regardless.
Yeah, see, they shouldn't have thrown that flash. What they could have done was waited a longer, because there was not a gunfight. There was nothing that came from that which would have could have possibly pulled both players. Bomb is going to get planted, and Wad doing a good. Oh, Wad pulls away from his angle at the wrong time. And now Greatness now knows where the last player is. This is Alloy. He's going to go ahead and firebomb him off. And there's the defuse area. He's going to go ahead and bait it. And, the flame was covering him up enough. Sometimes it just works out that way. Of course, we saw him because of the X-ray. It would probably been a little difficult to see him through that flame. But UTD, the first real gun round for them, they actually pick up the round, so now it scores 10-8.
And with that, they're going to get through some of that money on the side of FGCUs. We only see pistols coming out now. A singular HE grenade in the hands of Faya. Hmm. 66 damage there on the Parker. However, with that, they're going towards connector. They've got one going through T-spawn. They do not have the bomb. So how many times have we seen this core where UTD is able to find themselves some positioning, and that's actually a pick. I think it was underpass. Where these players are actually, I don't know who took out whom, but Adolfo is going to find 2, and they're not checking their behinds as Faya's still on the site. He's going to find 1 with his utility out, but he's not able to find the shots. He finds it, and that's going to close it out. So Adolfo's going to close the round with a 3K against these pistols. They don't get the bomb down, but they take the round, so they're happy with that. 11-8 in favor of UTD. This is the first map, and this is FGCU's map pick. The winner of this will advance into the playoff bracket beginning tomorrow, and they will face up against RMU. So if they're having a tough time in this match, they're going to have an even tougher time against the #1 seed in this entire tournament.
Yeah, that's rough. As YKZ starting the round. And Greatness peeks out with the up.
And that's a good call out that he has that instead of Parker. Parker actually sitting on a UMP.
Yeah, it's strange. Must have been a spawn. Greatness probably had a better spawn than you utilize. And Death Hood not checking any angles. He didn't check left or right.
Yeah, and with that, I think if Terra had just waited a few seconds to see if what would happen there, just get the. Oh my goodness, what a shot there! Able to see the eyeballs and just poke right through them with that AWP.
Yeah, he's so zoomed in, I think I saw his pores. I think I lost John now. Bomb's going to be taken away here inside of A. And boom, there's the noise. And he's going to go ahead and run with this AWP and make. Oh, he does make the shot. Oh, now it's down to a one-on-one. And YKZ is in ticket booth, and Greatness is going to go, you know what, why not? I'm just going to bait this out. Here comes the molly. That's going to slow. Yep, that's going to do it. And that finishes around. He's going to try to be able to pick up this op.
Oh, he's got it, yeah.
Let's see if the he's good on time. 12-8. Johnny, you back with us?
I am. Sometimes your comments just catch me off guard, and I've got to hold down the mute button and laugh it out for a second. I don't know why something about you saying that Pours comment made me laugh. It wasn't really that funny, but something about it made it really
dry.
funny.
It's my dry humor.
Yeah, it was just.
If I was a comic, I'd be like the most monotone comic.
Very almost like Mitch Hedberg style is what you strike me as. Just like your constant one-liners and just dry like the. What's his famous joke? Like escalators can't be broken down; they just are temporarily stairs.
No, it's the sign that says for an escalator that's broken is sorry for the convenience.
Yeah.
My favorite is he's like, I want to be the guy that names all appliances. What does it do? It refrigerates. All right, it's a refrigerator. All right, cool. I'm going on break. That's one of my favorite lines. But awesome move there by Deathhood, and it's now scored 13-8.
That was a 4K, and Alloy starting off this round hot by finding up Parker in that mid window as Deathhood is continuing his hot streak into this round as Terror is frightened for his life in that connector as bullets were coming in from everywhere. He saw his teammates dropping like flies, and Faya's got a big task in front of himself at ticket booth.
I think Greatness has probably already signed off this game because he's got an op and he goes glass cannon.
Oh, and jumping his Deathhood actually causes the crosshair fire to get completely out of touch, and we see that we see Deathhood still continuously pushing. So good recognition here. They're like, oh, he's definitely saving. Let's get him. They don't know he's got an AWP.
A lot of default skins that I'm seeing.
You know, you got to keep it basic sometimes. There's nothing better than the basics. There is nothing better than a hot and warm chocolate chip cookie. Not a hot and warm, but a hot and fresh.
You went straight to my heart on that one.
There's absolutely
I cannot
nothing
disagree with you at all. A chocolate chip cookie, a hot, warm chocolate chip cookie does sound really good.
I'm speaking to one person. If you are watching this, you know who you
Valid.
are. Chocolate chip cookies are absolutely my favorite. And oh, no, it looks okay. Parker just taking his time.
I would also like one.
Yeah, I was calling that.
I know.
She made me some homemade chocolate chip cookies, and they're fantastic. And I ate all of them already, so I'm asking for more, please.
That's good. 14-8, and map number 1 of this best of 3. Next map will be Overpass. Now, something to call out, FGCU chose map number 1 here on Mirage. And currently UTD is playing extremely well at this point. We'll pop flash. Sir Trix is now going to backtrack a little bit, making sure that he doesn't get pushed, watch his angles or anything like that. Parker, who's got the UMP. Oh, man, Deathhood took some damage, though. And he puts his back to Terror. And now there's... Oh, headshots him. Oh, he's down to 11 HP. And this is a mixed, like a really poor buy. Oh, and there comes nice nade by Alloy. Good call out. And Alloy gets a second one.
Okay, this is a different UTD we're seeing now.
Yep.
They've pretty much ever since they started getting on these swings, they've just been absolutely on fire. As Deathhood is not expecting Greatness to be here, and he's going to have to do what his name states. As he's pull out some greatness here, as he's in a 3v1 situation. He sees one. He basically had to get the one tap onto that player if he wanted a chance. So let's see how he tries to take it. YKZ, it seems like he wanted to peek him there, but he's just keeping his focus.
Yeah, he has no kit either.
He does not. He doesn't have money, so in some cases you want to save this AK, but at the same point, you don't want to get yourself against match point.
You save this AK.
He is going a weird route as he tried to run towards connector. That's 15 on the board here for UTD. What started off as a shaky first half, and I think it was 8-7. Oh no, it was 9-6. Excuse me, it was 9-6 in favor of UTD. So
You're
since
correct.
then, FGCU's only been able to pick up 2 rounds on the board. Final round coming out potentially for this map before we move on to Overpass. As Parker is, oh no, why would you pull out a grenade there, Parker?
What are you doing?
Regardless, He gets taken out by the AK, and they are just running through connector. Not stopping for anything. Sir Trix is actually having a show of his own on the B bomb site as Deathhood is just manhunting at this point. It turned into a deathmatch server. UTD had enough, and they close out Mirage 16-8. We're going to overpass, Corey, and if we know anything about history is that it repeats itself, and we saw 16-9 with UTD over FGCU on that exact map.
That's something else. I mean, the first half looked like we had something. The second half was all UTD. The way that they played it, and also, well, at least I hope we hit the reset button. We'll see what UTD. I mean, UTD's got the lead right now, 1-0 in this best of 3. We head over to UTD's map pick, which is Overpass, which you mentioned as well. So we'll see now. Whichever team wins this, if UTD wins this map, it will, of course, they will then advance into the playoffs. They will have a tough fight ahead of them. They'll be facing off against RMU. Now, FGCU could come back and win this next map, and that will force us into Dust 2. We'll find out which way that goes right here from the U.S. Army Presents Reload Collegiate CSGO Invitational after this. Visit GoArmy.com and learn about 150 different career opportunities available now. Esports and U.S. Army working together to make things better. Now, I'm curious. Now we just had a serious conversation, and it was about cookies. So if you heard those, that would be awesome, because it was a really good conversation about cookies, which we're looking to see who's going to get the dessert in the end. Will it be UTD? Will it be FGCU? UTD currently leads this series at 1. And one of the things that we're looking at is we're going to be heading over to Overpass. But there's a lot of server ping latency issues that we are seeing. And so we are adjusting that. We're actually hopping into a whole different queue now. So that will get us into a different server. So we'll see if we have a different result.
Yeah, we'll have to keep our eyes on that. I will say, when we saw the server issues, it seemed like it was a close game. And then when it seems like the server issues resolved, it seemed like it wasn't a close game. So not sure how that one shook up. We don't have the numbers, as you mentioned, Corey. We don't have the ping and the latency of all the players, or really where we're even standing as the observer. So we'll have to just touch base on that. But as we move into this next map of Overpass, one thing I want to keep our eyes on is, once again, ASOS is not in this server, and we saw him being an impact player for UTD. But Deathhood is in the server now, and he showed very well for himself. I think he had like 25 kills in that last match.
Yeah, he played pretty well. So I mean, I don't think ASOS, of course, is an X factor for UTD, but I don't think they missed out much. I mean, the fact is, the scoreline still ended 16-8. I think that game was different than what we just saw. Like the 16-8 told a different story. If you looked at it, you're like, oh man, that must have not been really that close of a game. For the first half, it was something else. You thought that it was going to end close to a 16-13 style of game. But the second half you thought that would have been a 16-2 game. Like, that's just two completely different play styles that were happening in that map. And so that's going to bring us over to Overpass. What was the score of the first time?
16-9.
16-9 to the very first time that these two teams met. And so we'll see if they actually can take it from there. So seeing if I had any other notes from that matchup. I did not. I didn't start keeping any unique details yet. UTD won both pistols. Nope, I'm wrong on that. UTD won one pistol, which, of course, I mean, both of them split it. That was both on the counter-terrorist side. And then also, UTD won on a 5-round streak. So at the very beginning, I believe it was like early in the game, like they started off really, really strong. And then after that, they started losing. And then that first half score was 9-6. With UTD starting off on the T side. So if we have the map sides, what do we think?
Well, I would say that since we hear that they've won with the USPs on the CT side, I would think that if UTD is able to pick which side they want, and if they end up on the CT side, then they're going to do pretty well for themselves.
Yeah, they do not pick the side. So FGCU actually picked the CT side too.
Okay.
Yeah.
And with starting with that is we have to keep in mind we saw very clean executes on that B bomb site, and whenever they went to restrooms on the A side of things, it was slow and methodical. So it wasn't as much of a let's go attack, but there was a certain time. I can't remember if it was this match or another one. We've actually only seen it overpass once today. It feels like we've seen it more times, but the one time we saw, if you remember, they actually got all the way to the bomb site, and then they flanked the players on B because they went 2 players on A long, and so I think some of the strategies on the FGCU side might be need of a little bit of a refinement. But as we take a look here, that was the site that UTD saw so much success for the first time today, and this might be the last map we see today. We start with overpass and we end with overpass, and we're going to end with these 2 teams. Unfortunately, one of them is going to go home, and one of them we will see tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll see him face off against RMU, and what is currently scheduled to be the first game of our entire day as well. So they're going to go from being the last team to play tonight, and then luckily, I mean, for them, though, we will be wrapping relatively early. But they'll have to pay attention and kind of do some of their strategies. But they are playing against a very tough team, being RMU. That will be at noon tomorrow, as where everything is currently scheduled. We'll probably hold true to a lot of these. I think I'm going to make a couple of different adjustments. As now we've got, we're already in game here, and we'll take a look and see how this one plays out. Get a little game audio and be able to start this one out here. Again, just to reiterate, the CT side was won by both teams on the pistol when last time we were on overpass. Last time we saw a retake of the B-bomb site, but this time we're not going to see that because they're actually heading here towards long A, and Wad has picked up 1, and that's going to be enough going, well, all right, run away!
What did you say the name of this game was on this map?
Oh, yeah. An event happened.
It's underpass, or it's overpass, and it's over rotate.
Yep. I always think of. I'll tell you a second. As they're heading here towards the B bomb site, and goodness, you've got FGCU locking it down. The B bomb site belongs to FGCU, and Sir Trix is now the last one alive here, and he decides, you know what? I'm probably not going to win that gunfight. He's got 25 HP. Fire's down to 3, so he might be able to cause some damage there. And there you go. Peeks it out again. Oh, he almost has him. And there's a, yep, you got to see if he can try again. Come on, please. As he hasn't peeked out on him yet. He's caused a ton of damage. No.
That went on way longer than it
yeah, Sir
to.
Trix is having see what he can pull out of his sleeve. Man, so FGCU picking up the pistol round, so it holds true that the CTs win pistol rounds on overpass. Oh, man. I already forgot what I was going to say. Oh, well.
There was something about over-rotating.
Oh, every time that, you know, there's like an event happens, I always think about Snake.
Oh.
Yep.
The exclamation point.
Yep. All right, so now you got Greatness pushing into the site. Oh, nice job. It's Greatness and Wad hold it down with the combination of Terror. They stacked that bomb site, and UTD just did a trust fall, and FGC was there to be able to pick them up.
Well, I think FGC actually put them down if UTD did a trust fall.
Yeah, I mean, you could look in deep into it. I thought it was a good line.
Oh, I don't disagree with you. I think
you do disagree with me. It's okay.
You didn't even give me the opportunity. I was going to say something. Dang. See, this is why you don't mess with Corey sometimes. I share with everyone in the production room. There's no one funnier in the world when pissed off than Corey Dunn.
Yeah, anyway. I don't know if I've ever been pissed off.
Oh, I've seen it before.
Just upset.
Oh, okay. Now, that's how I know you're pissed off. I've been told that before. I've had someone tell me, you know what, I'm not mad, I'm just upset. That's you know, every mom ever in the whole world. You decided to like wear clothes that weren't matching. You know, you had the jeans that didn't quite match that shirt, and you go to church, and she's like, you know, son, I'm not mad you did that. I'm just upset.
Yeah, just like that, we've got them heading over here towards the A bomb site. Bomb's getting planted by YKZ, and let's see if they can get a retake. But Sir Trix just around the corner inside a bank. He then wraps out. Oh, he almost takes out one. That was Faya, as Adolfo is now going to have to help him out in this 2-on-2. Smoke is. Oh no, Terror right around the corner. And now it's left up to Adolfo. Bomb is planted for him. Good nade idea. I'm going to give him credit for that one, but he's going to toss out a flashbang. He's going to spot one. They still have not hopped on the bomb yet. There's the bomb defuse. And he goes for the... Oh, he gets both of them. Great job by Adolfo being able to pick up the round. He picks up a hat trick in the round. And so FGCU loses that round as now the score is 2-1.
They at least have money for themselves. And once again, to highlight the great crosshair placement, saw the shots connecting and continued to spray along. So that spells out UTD's first round here on Overpass. Corey, if I'm correct, it was 2-0 last time when we started for the favor of FGCU. And then UTD took the next two.
I think that's... I wish I had my notes for that. I don't have any of those details.
That sounds so familiar. I think that's almost been the name of the game for this tournament. It's either we see teams go 2-0, 3-0, and then immediate returns, or it just starts getting really wonky after that. So we'll have to see if UTD can use this newfound momentum with his Max 10 in hand in YKZ. He wants to take control of Connector. He's 0-3, so he wants to hunt for something. He wants to get some extra money in his pocket as he now starts to make his way towards the bomb. As UTD has found their positioning towards A. We see one player, and hey, funny enough, look at that, Death Hood, the player that replaced ASOS, he's playing the same exact way that ASOS played.
Yeah, that's a valid statement, yep.
So it seems like he's not the IGL, and whoever is telling him, hey, go find some information on B, see if you can make some noise, let's go push forward on the restrooms. We see in a forward position there in Faya. Sir Trix is not going to check that angle. He wants nothing to do with it right now as his team starts rotating over to meet up with, I was going to say ASOS, but it's Death Hood. So now Death Hood finds a pick, and so does Sir Trix. So they might think it's an A hit, but now they see it's on to B. They're going to rotate on over, and it's going to be a 2v2 with no kit available to them as YKZ has now gotten the bomb planted.
Yeah, they get there quick enough. And I don't know if you saw that there. Now Flash coming out there. Fly is going to go ahead. That's a weird molly.
Yeah, it was weird indeed, as Alloy was just hanging on the other side, saw it go by, said, all right, I know where one's at, and they double peek him, and he finds 2 kills for himself. So Alloy.
Yeah, I could have understood if he threw, Faya threw the molly like at his feet, like near that corner, and then it bloomed outward. That could have forced him out of a position. You'd also immediately heard that there was a player around the corner. I don't know why he threw it there. Trying to think about what could have been the case, but now you've got Faya's going to play close quarters with the CZ here, and UTD being very attentive to the situation. They elect to not push anywhere quickly. I want to make sure all nades or any crazy stacks or things like that are accounted for. As Death Hood wins his gunfight against Greatness. Oh, but quickly after that, Wad picks him off with that USP. And he does not get a weapon out of it. And Terra's dropped his deagle, and I picked it back up. And oh no,
That's unfortunate.
Alloy, I think he shot through his teammate.
That is unfortunate. That's a rifle they would have loved to keep in their hands, obviously, but now it's on the ground as we see the deagle and USP left in the round in the hands of Terror and Wad, respectively. Terror sitting on that bomb site, and that looks like where UTD is wanting to take it. As we see a smoke and a Molotov in the hands of Adolfo. There goes the flash grenade he had. Catches nothing, and ooh, Terror sees one. He's gonna find him. He had 35 HP, so he doesn't have to get the headshot. Ooh, he found a hit onto Adolfo, but it wasn't enough, and Adolfo finds his teammate, or excuse me, he finds Terror. So, we're left to the 1v2.
Oh, man.
Now we're left to the 2v0 as UTD taking the 3rd round on the board for themselves, starting the shift into their favor. It's 3-2. Going into round number 6, we see an automatic shotgun, the M1014, I believe it's called, into the hands of Parker. We haven't seen that yet out of them. We saw that on Nuke earlier today. We have not seen that on Overpass. We've seen a lot of success with that gun towards Connector. And that's exactly where he's going. He's going to flash himself in.
Oh, got it.
Gets hit by the Molotov. And
have a cocktail.
And YKZ's looking for him. It just needs to aim a little bit lower. He just doesn't know it yet.
And Death Hood winning some gunfights over there towards short A. And then finally, whenever we cut away from it, Parker does fall to YKZ. Left up to Faya.
It's so curious to me that Deathhood and
ASOS are very similar playstyles.
They're so similar, and they're finding the similar levels of success as one another. In the sense that they're finding these picks, and they're both fighting. They're getting them, opening it up for his team. Very similar playstyle, so I will assume that's just whoever their IGLs is exactly calling them, hey, go kill him. Go find him and go kill him.
Yeah, sometimes it's also an easier role to jump into. It's harder to actually be a part of the full team execute, right? You're said one that has to throw a particular smoke or a particular flash on the execute. You have to watch this part of the entry. When you're by yourself, so you can watch. You know how you're going to play. You don't have to necessarily kind of rely on what other players are doing. But so.
That is true.
It does take a type of skill, though. I'm not going to take it away from it. Like to be an entry fragger or to be a major lurker, like there's some skill that comes into play that's a little different than the rest of the team. But it is the easiest role to fulfill whenever you got other commanders. We take another look here. Here's Deathhood.
Oh, great spray control there. That's how he opens up that B bomb site, and then we see him swing onto Greatness, and there goes Greatness.
Yeah, so good control as we see them break here. And they've got 3 players that are heading here towards to party and to mid.
I was about to ask how Faya had so much money, but he was able to save it. That's how.
Yep.
I thought he went down at the last moments, but he actually found the kill on the Deathhood. So able to walk away with 1 in for it. Oh, that's a nice find there, and he might actually get the gun. Parker got so close to it and then decided to run away from it. He's going to find Eldafo, however, but not able to find the pick soon enough, and Eldafo should be able to get out of there in time, or at least find the pick. There it is. It's actually YKZ. Where did YKZ find that from?
T-spawn area.
Okay, I didn't see him come around there. So Eldafo now finds Greatness. We see the battle for Connector. It's in full effect. Oh my goodness, he's getting shot in the back. Deathhood got a little bit too tunnel vision towards that angle. We see a 3v3 with Eldafo sitting at 16 HP. So 1 shot from the Deagle will be enough to put him down.
Yeah. And YKZ taking the blunt of that initial attack. Now you're going to see the rotate happen. Neither one of the players are there. You hear the drop, but I don't know if they heard them as they were rushing, and they had their own footsteps that they were covering it up with. And bomb's getting good plant on the other side, and there you go. YKZ finding it 2-on-1. Faya, there's a flashbang over the top, trying to slow that one down. And Faya's, actually his focus has been drawn by YKZ due to that flash, and so he was able to peek out and take him out 5-2, 5 rounds in a row for UTD. Yeah, I know.
Year to date.
Year to date. UTD 5-2. Take a look at this setup and what they've got. Currently, we see guns coming out. Parker's got the AWP, playing that aggressive op. See if he can get the first pick on Fountain, but he's not going to be contested here. Ooh, I think he actually does have 1 player around the corner, and that looks to be Sir Tricks. Deathhood's having fun over here on Sandbags. Short A, or sorry, Short B.
That's exactly where he's at. Oh boy, here I go killing again. We keep saying that time and time over, but it's only more relevant as we see his play unfold as he's moved his way towards Connector, and actually gets taken down by Greatness. Tries to move a little bit too far forward and made it a little bit too loud as Greatness just decides to peek from Sandbags. A risky move, but it pays off for him.
So Alloy's going to keep creeping his way here, see how much further he can get. And Greatness is checking corners, but there's nobody there, so you think you can hear him making these jumps. And here comes the move. They're coming across here towards the B bomb site. You got Terror, who's also close quarters here. He's got a good angle. There's one. Oh, man. Terror will get taken out. At the same time, though, his Greatness was dropped as well. So now it's left up to Parker, as I think he may have spotted one going into the site. Oh, and he unscopes at the wrong time. Oh, this time he goes through the floor. He's going to try again, but Sir Tricks keeps tapping away. The little engine that could finally finishes that one. Now we're left up to Faya, who's player 1, as Faya's going to take his AWP away with him. And the bomb will kind of take away here. Another round coming in for UTD. looks like this will be the challenge here. And he gets him as he crosses, but look out, there's another one here towards bathroom. And Adolfo wins the jump fight.
It's funny that. What's the timing of that for both of them to find each other at the exact same time that they both jump? Ah! They scared each other and jumped. Yeah, exactly. Unfortunately for Faya, he wanted to save that AWP, but it gets taken down at the last moments through the hands of Adolfo. Is now round number 9 and 6-2 in the favor of UTD as we see the Mag 7 coming out for Parker. Wasn't able to find any success with the auto shotgun, so he says, you know what, it was the gun, it wasn't me. Tries to switch it over, tries to get a new gun in his hands, and not able to find anything once again as YKZ is able to put him down. Follow-up CD.
I'm sorry. That bullet hit everything except for the door as he's continued to spray. Hit the floor, the ceiling, the sidewalls, everything, and then, but a nice over-the-top greatness getting boosted. But it is 2-on-2 now. Bomb is being picked up, and Adolfo is going to have to defend himself inside of A.
Oh, he's telling him to go B. Look at that.
It'd be smarter, yeah, if he's. Oh, there it is. Peeks out, and greatness takes him out. But the bomb carrier is going towards B. I think that was the right call out for him to be at least get the bomb planted. I don't think it was the right call out to be able to take this round, but. Ooh, he's got the time. He's going to force their hand here, and he gets pushed up. Oh my goodness. Let's see what happens. If he holds this, if he doesn't peek, lets one player go by, this could be a good one. Oh, he gets, and he does! Sir Trix picking up 2 there, playing the right angle. Great job by him. And Adolfo making the call out saying, hey, go B. It's okay. I'll be okay.
My heart will go on.
I'll be okay. Great job by Sir Trix. Playing the angle. He wins the gunfights. But 7-2 now as he tosses a weapon to no one.
Parker once again finding his way towards mid. He's got the AWP this time. The long-range shotgun, so to speak, and he doesn't find the shot. He's forced off of the position as the Molotov is also forced out of the position through the smoke grenade.
Oh, Parker's starting it up there. He did not like how that round ended, so he takes out Sir Trix early. And Terror had already dropped Death Hood right here in front of you. That's what we see right there. And greatness right here on the angle, and he will be traded. Now working to the sides. Terror is stuck inside of the pit in water. One coming up here towards sandbags right now. That is Parker, and Parker takes down the bomb carrier, peeks wide, and YKZ will fall to Terror. Just a quick exchange between each other, and FGCU finds a round finally again. They forgot what that was like. It took them 7 rounds to realize that they needed to win one, and so in round number 10, they're now 3-7.
This feels very familiar as the last time we saw these two teams meet on this map. I think it was 5 rounds instead of 7.
Yep, 5.
And then it started getting a little bit back and forth towards the end.
Yep.
So, once again, as I said earlier, if history repeats itself, we'll see some back and forth here. But the money is broken on the side of UTD. They're only with pistols and some utility to work with and 2 flashbangs and a smoke, and that's on Adolfo. They're just going to Leroy Jenkins their way onto the site, and they're going to find that there's only 2 players there. So they called out a site, and oh man, Alloy's going to find the opening shots.
Oh, goodness.
Onto Greatness and Terror. And that's not a good look, as now it's a 3v2 retake. They've got a kit, and Wad's down to 28 health now. They also found the rifles. They don't know someone's there on sandbags. Now it's down to Fire, not able to control the spray. And what should have not been their round, a take it anyways, as UTD gets 8 on the board through pistols.
Yeah, just because of the setup that FGCU had, and they didn't do anything with it. They really didn't have a good, sight line for Monster or for sandbags. They just boosted to be able to give over the top, and they just didn't have it there. And now Sir Trix pushing here, and there's going to be one that is actually over on the stairs. Here comes the pistols coming out, and they're getting traded fast though. Now it's 3-on-3 now. Bomb has been dropped over towards T spawn. And still hasn't been picked up. So YKZ is going to backtrack. There's his bomb. Throws the flash. They baited out towards the B bomb site a little bit. I'm not seeing an over rotation coming in yet from FGCU. One player wrapping back towards the bank.
Corey, as we're sitting on Overpass, I remember making a comment earlier today to say that we've seen just about everything on Overpass. We haven't seen the 5-man boost on T side yet.
It's we haven't seen any irregular boost either. Haven't seen any 3-man stacks where. Oh no, we've seen it in this tournament. We've seen one 3-man stack over by Graffiti.
Well, with that said, we'll see if we can keep our eyes open to that as the bomb's going down in the hands of YKZ. The players are rotating over. Interesting thing to note here is that Greatness has found himself an AK and a smoke grenade. So if they were to stick this bomb, they've at least got that piece of utility to try to do so as they make their way towards the site. All the players have quickly found their way off of it, and that looks like what we're going to see. They're going to try, and that's baited them all out. Oh my goodness, they found themselves in a winnable position, but L2A is able to close it out, finding the last two, and I want to see how Wad got that wall bang deagle shot. I'm curious how that one lined up, but got a little bit slippery in that round number 12 for UTD, as it's now 9-3 in their favor. The AWP coming out for 2 players in Faya and Parker. As we've been asking for it, Faya is on it.
9-3. And we'll see. Parker's actually playing aggressive this round. He does pick off Sir Trix. That's just what Parker does. He likes the op. He likes being aggressive. And this time it pays off for him.
He quickly rotates onto the B site. Actually, he's exchanging with Wad. That's what it seems like. Oh, no. Okay, it seems there's a little bit of indecisiveness. They're wanting to keep 4 players on this B bomb site.
That's crazy.
It is crazy to me, especially since you just found a pick onto A. I don't know. Maybe that's one of those things where it's like, hey, I got to pick on A. They're going to rotate B because I did it so early. And he's in his own head because now we see that Wad is once again the person running back, and it seems like Parker's joining him as we see a big flank coming here from Greatness. He's walking all the way through T-spawn.
Yeah, which allows his teammates to know that they can go ahead and set up over here towards A. And Wad is checking angles as well. He hasn't seen anybody. The only caveat to that is that they don't know if the players came through connector or not.
Now UTD's making their way back. Okay, I was about to say making it back towards connector, and
Bomb's
the more time they take, the more time they are getting this flank closer, but it doesn't matter, and they'll never know about it towards the end as Parker comes alive in that round with the AWP, finding 3 to his name and adding a 4th to the board for his team as we hit into round number 14. The money's now not looking great for UTD, so they will have 1 round here. We've seen a lot of success with these rounds. They go B and they are able to absolutely flush it out. Because last time they all went B, we saw only 2 players on site to contest them. They're going to see more this time as they pick up the bomb. They're just running their way straight through Monster. We're going to see some contact here as L2A is the first one on the site. He is blind as a bat, and he still finds a shot. He's not able to find another one. Oh my goodness, he had the time to take out Greatness, but pulling out the pistol and salvaging it is not going to continue in this round. However, as they look to have this round closed out, Parker doesn't find the second shot. Now it's a 1v1. Alloy's found himself an 8K, but the second AWP, which they might not have known about, makes a difference in that round, and it is the round before the half. 9-5 in favor of FGCU. Corey, last time, was it 11-4 at halftime?
I think that's pretty close to what it could have been, but I'm flipping over here to see. Last time these two met,
what was it, 10-5?
Overpass was 9-6 was the first half score.
Oh, really? Okay, well, hey, we're pretty close to that as YKZ finds, oh, I thought he had the crosshairs on his teammate. And that was L2A. And that's the only gun they have is that AWP.
Well, that's Parker's AWP.
I didn't realize their money was as bad as the position as it was. I thought after last round losing that.
Yeah, they zeroed themselves out, though.
Yeah, I guess they did. I didn't realize it. I thought they put themselves in a position to at least have SMGs. And speaking of which, they find a MAC-10 on Alloy. They're making a timed push here on connector. Once again, Greatness making noise, but ultimately just trying to check. So maybe if you're thinking about it, you're trying to time for when he lands. as they start making their way. As he had the Molotov in hand, and it goes down immediately as they hear him, and that's the smoke grenade counter.
To push through.
Here they go. Alloy with that. Mac 10's able to find something.
Oh, but it's 2-on-3 right now. And you got Terror right around the corner, and that's a flashbang down below. He's going to be trying to be able to pick the bomb, and Wad was completely blind. And as YKZ picked up that op and just went to town, he got himself 4 kills in that round. 4. Woo.
Yeah, look at this from the side of UTD. 12, 13, 12, 10. So across the board, lots of good team play, spreading out the wealth as they are. The lowest on the server is 9. So pretty much across the game, everyone having their own performances, and I think some of these rounds could even be chalked up to it's just individual one-on-one fights being won by one team or the other. It is a 10-5 score line on UTD's T side, and now we're seeing a B rush. That's going to be a flash grenade. That's going to blind a lot of the players. You see 3 of them blinded on the side of FGCU. That's not going to stop them from running in and finding success. They are able to find 3, and they're going to get the bomb down shortly as Greatness tries to take a fight towards Sandbags. And oh, he wins. Excuse me, I was looking at the wrong side. Now,
oh, the timings.
Didn't matter anyways. They had 2 players looking at him, and that is the pistol round coming out for FGCU. Now that's an important one, Corey. We say that Overpass is the CT-sided pistol map is what we've seen, and they just broke the curse. So that means FGC's won both pistol rounds this game. We know last time they won a pistol round, they were able to take at least 1 round to themselves. Let's see if they're able to get 2 rounds, as we now see the human line of terrorists going towards the playground, and they are making their way quickly towards A long as we see 3 people stacked on the B bomb site. 1 player is in connector, and the only person on site is Death Hood as Eldafo is quickly trying to rejoin his teammate. They've got a feeling something up. It's taking them a little bit too long to find some contact, and Death Hood hears the footsteps. Wad's able to pick up Alloy as Greatness is now finding Death Hood, and this is surely going to be FGCU's round as the bomb's now planted. Greatness actually pushes himself pretty far forward, so that's going to give a gun into the hands of Eldafo, the Mac 10. He's going to have to do God's work with that, however. It's 4v2. Here he goes. He's going to go towards Bank while his teammate's getting taken down. And, wow, Parker, he's found 1, and he found the other. And that is a very quick round number 17. 10-7 on the board for UTD as that advantage, excuse me, that lead starts to dwindle round by round, and so does their money. But here we go. We're going to look into the replay. Parker, he sees 1, then he sees the feet of the other, starts spraying, and easily picks them up. Is now leading the server at 4. Oh, I missed 1 on Greatness. He's at 18. Wow. I thought that was a 3 when I first looked at it. I must have completely missed that as they're making another fast B hit. Greatness to lead the front. There's a player on barrels. The Molotov missed, which allows him to find 1, and he gets taken down. It was actually Eldafo from Heaven. And now the spray is not there from Death Hood. He could have found the last player in Wad who has the bomb. Bomb's now being planted, and Parker's going to Molotov that 1 player playing off site. Didn't quite make it far enough, actually. If he wanted to, he could get over there. Eldafo dropping a smoke, it looks like, towards Sandbags. That is correct. And then we see the other player playing towards Monster. Good positions here. We only see 1 kid in the hands of YKZ. They're trying to clear the site, and that's going to be the smoke for the player on Monster. However, he's going to get the pick, and now there is 1 player left in Parker, who's in a good position to be able to spray through the smoke. Here comes the tap. He's going to be able to find no one as UTD's able to stop the bleeding and get round number 11 on the board. As a reminder, if UTD wins this map, they will eliminate FGCU, and tomorrow will make their way into the playoffs against RMU. So if you're FGCU, you are fighting for your tournament life as they now force into this next round. Oh, actually, they had enough money, so they just invest into the rifles. Let's see what they can do with it. We still don't see the AWP in the hands of UTD. Keeping that one off the server for now. Keeping confidence in those rifles.
Take a look and see what they can do. And they've got a default set up here for FGCU. Trying to clean out here through connector. YKZ watching for connector. See who's got the headshot. Oh, baited there. They baited out the shot. And now they know where those 2 players were playing at. And grid angles coming in for Parker. He tried it immediately. Oh, and they both get over there. And so what they currently had, FGCU had a good little advantage that they could have taken. But now Here comes the firebomb, slowing things down, making sure that they don't push up. Yeah, the bomb carrier is still back in the in playground. And gradually starting to work their way up. But Via, look at, there it is. Faya has cleared out the B bomb site. And we might see the adjustment. They might head here towards connector. And actually the bomb carrier decided to change position altogether.
Yeah, that bomb is so far away.
So
going
confused
back
too. Doesn't know where to go.
That's in the hands of Wad, and he's actually going to hightail it right back to where he was. So where they had an advantage in a completely open bomb site has turned into a... Now they're going to have to do an A take as Greatness finds the first pick onto YKZ. That's a good opening as Odafo is sprinting his way back, trying to stop this bomb from going down. He won't be there in time. He's going to find a Molotov, but he's going to find a nice shot there onto Greatness. He sees another one. He tries to take the fight, and that's Wad. Terra, if you poke your head out, it's going to get chopped off, and Wad's now folding from a position where they hope they can't see him. I wonder if they know he's there. It seems, oh my goodness, I think he saw him. Oh, he saw the elbow. Yeah, that's going to take him down. Now it's left to Terror, trying to get cheeky, and that's what you're going to get for it. 12 on the board for FGCU. Or, excuse me, UTD.
Yeah, UTD did a really good job on that retech. I think FGCU overthought it. Your players were completely out of position to be able to join up with Faya. And so Faya continued to try to advance in the B bomb site. And of course he was challenged and then he lost that fight, and that's what created even more confusion. So if Faya ended up being accompanied by somebody else, or if Faya was uncontested for even longer, then I think at that point you would have had a clear flight path to the bomb site. And look at this. Why? Oh man!
Who checks that? Oh my goodness, Terror.
But hey, it's good. Always good to have one of those types of players who checks weird angles or checks the off angles.
Great awareness there from Terror, because that was going to be a done round. He was going to find the three kills there. I don't think Wad was there,
Still
so the bomb wouldn't have gone down. But that would have been that was a huge check there. As Sertrix, I'm sure, is happy he at least gets the shotgun kill. That's going to be $900 in his pocket. Now all of a sudden, we see here is, yeah, Terror he's just like, oh hey, there was a guy there that whole time, fellas.
Well, you start to question, why is there a smoke grenade here, and there's so many other things. Like, well, let's make sure we check everything. Let's clear it out. So again, I'm not that player.
I am. That's why I miss a lot of my shots, because I'm always busy trying to check every single little angle.
Yep. So we always need one.
Yep. You're welcome. I make my sacrifice so that other people can get kills. But oh, I'm glad we got to catch that smoke grenade miss. I haven't seen that. It's a little joyful moment as all the players on UTD stacked towards connector didn't have any luck, as they're now going to pile out into the AK of Parker. And man, that's a 4K just like that. They're not going to spray through just to remind them where they fell, as Death Hood is going to be pushing from the CT side of things. And it looks like he's just going to hold an angle, see if he can't find an exit, as he's got no business in this round. Only a P250, no kit, doesn't even have head armor. He's going to poke out here. He's not going to find anything other than the exploding bomb. Now he runs away, and that spells out. Ringing the bell is round number 9 on the board for FGCU. So we saw a 10-5 scoreline. Then we saw 2 rounds from FGCU, returned by 2 rounds by UTD, followed by another 2 rounds of FGCU.
Just another look at, that's actually really, really great control.
That's what you like to see. If they're starting to get warmed up, we see 22 on Greatness, we see 20 on Parker. If they start getting warm and start catching their stride, UTD might be in for a long series here, as they still got a couple rounds to close it out. Now they've picked up some weaponry to fight against.
Yeah, if FGCU ends up moving on in this tournament, which they've got a tough path.
You think Eldolfo will still help us out?
I think for FGCU, I would highly recommend Parker switching to the AK.
Yeah, that last round alone was enough to sell me on it. His control is absolutely there. He looked great on that gun, as now we see him being taken down first, and Terra is able to find up the pick, as we see Alloy actually coming on for the flank. They don't know he's there, and they're actually split. The bomb is down towards the spawn, and they're not going to rotate over, and I think Alloy, excuse me, he had his back turned. Yeah, it was Alloy. I had it right. He had his back turned and didn't recognize that 2 players already pushed forward, as Adolfo's alone on this bomb site. He's going to hear the utility and doesn't check his angles as greatness. That's why Terror is on the team, so he can have that awareness for them as they take him down. And now that's the bomb, and that's another fight being won by Death Hood, and that's got to feel good. It was the last bullet, and that's going to be 13 on the round for UTD. Corey, I was being superstitious before by saying the half started off with 2 rounds on the side of FGCU, then 2 on UTD, now 2 back, and now we've seen a 2 in return on the side of UTD. Actually, no, that's only 1. I can't do math.
That's 1, yeah.
That's the start of them getting their second.
Yeah, not checking angles, just running directly into the site, being concerned. And Adolfo, and the fact is too, they went in 1 by 1. FGCU went in 1 by 1 towards that bomb site. So just little mistakes here and there that have led to the success of their opponents. Ooh, nice job by Parker, getting boosted over the top on the rails, spotting Death Hood, who's been playing barrels. And they're going to start to move up. There's the smoke to slow them down over there towards that side. And the economy's broken right now for UTD.
Want to keep in mind, Corey. Oh, man, nice control there from Fire. Able to transfer over. Didn't find the first pick, but Parker's able to follow him. I was about to say, Corey, keep in mind where the bomb is at. Very far away, perhaps almost the farthest it could be, given the circumstances. And so now they're going to have to run it all the way back. Sure, they've got the site. It's just going to take a little bit longer to get there than they would like it to. However, that gives them some time to hunt if you're trying to look for a silver lining, as Alloy is actually hunting down YKZ, getting some support. Or excuse me, not YKZ. Wad, yes. Not hunting down his teammates. Just going to give him an AK. Actually, they both have an AK. YKC has a kit as well. If they had some utility, well, they do have some utility.
Yep, I think they're going to let this one go, though, because they're
just
looking
giving the money.
Yeah, looking at the bigger picture here. 1150 here for YKZ. We should see, I think it's 2900 in this next round, so he'll be at he'll have just enough to be able to buy a teammate.
So 10 on the board for FGCU. They have so far done 1 round better last time they met UTD on this map, as that it's in 16-9. Let's look at the scoreboards really quick. UTD has played 3 matches today and a total of 4 maps, this being their 4th, and FGCU has played 5 maps. The very first one they went up against UTD, had to make their lower bracket run, and then they played 2 maps against UTA in which they won. And here is their 5th map where they have their backs against the wall on the brink of elimination as they go against the weaponry that is coming out on the side of UTD, which is not great.
YKZ going to hold this angle. He's got 2 players that he has to worry about. They're going to pressure him right now. And he doesn't wait to see if he can find or see if there's a player that pushes up. He goes straight for it. And immediately after that, he is traded.
Was he also the same player that was holding with the FAMAS?
I think it was Alloy.
Okay. The reason I bring that up is that might be the reason why he pulled the trigger too soon. It's because he was like, I don't want this to happen again. That's why that's a nice pick onto Adolfo. It is a 2v3 situation, however.
Yep.
The bomb also very far away, so they've got 1 minute to decide. They're going to go with a long. That's the decision, and they're sticking to it. We only see 1 player on the site.
You say that. Still 50 seconds.
You are correct. You are correct. They very well could pull those knives out and get those pedometers racking up the steps. But now they're heading their way down a long. Once again, there's only 1 player on site. That is Death Hood. Excuse me, that's not Death Hood. That is Alloy. That is a 0. And that would have been Adolfo anyways, but regardless, here we are. We see Sir Trix holding with that P250 towards connectors. Ally points the first pickup, and Death Hood is a little bit sloppy, but he's able to pick it up. So, Corey, as I said, the 2-round rotations have been true so far as UTD finds their 2nd round after losing its 2 rounds, then previously winning 2 rounds, and then previously losing 2 rounds. If history tells us anything, after the next 4 rounds, UTD will find themselves a win, and it'll be 12-16. I'm gonna bet on that, Corey. I'm gonna put my stance on that. It'll be 12-16.
All right. Planting your flag, huh?
Yep, I'm going to dig into it. As you say, I'm going to lean into it.
Lean into it.
Putting all my body weight into it. I hope it can support me. Because if they win this round, however, that might be an early exit out of this map, as the money on the side of FGCU is not great. Quiet once again. Not
yeah, you
trying
got
to make too much noise.
Yeah, you got 3 players over there, and then boom, again. Just keep punishing that every time. And then good support by Faya.
Oh. Your crosshair wasn't even on the right spot, and he's gotten picked off. It's 4v2 now, and Corey, it's looking like it's going to be 11th on the board. Unless YKZ and Alloy want anything to say about it, and it looks like they're already trying to find an exit. And look at that, Greatness is already on top of it. He wants to find some of these guns. He wants to take them away. He is creeping up so far behind them as Alloy finds one. He knows there's one player towards heaven, and Greatness is going to be right behind him in just a moment. YKZ's not able to find it. Now it's left to Alloy, and he's going to see the... Oh, my goodness, you've got to be kidding me.
Greatness, I thought you were watching Heaven. 14-11. The economy is broke for UTD. Map number 1. Final map could be Dust 2 if FGCU pushes this forward.
You know, we haven't seen an AWP in this map, in this half, I don't think. Both these teams just trying to play that very fast, aggressive style. Not trying to slow themselves down while having to look down a scope. They just want to shoot. And that is exactly what Parker's going to do. He's going to find Death Hood again. He's got his number. That's going to be the Molotov, and that might just stretch the Sir Tricks. It does not, and he's just going to hold that position.
Looks like, okay, go.
He can feel the heat rising. Just not close enough. And I wonder if they're even going to check that position. We saw last time when
Zeus.
Rascal had this spot, and it's actually just down to him.
Oh, God.
No way.
Oh.
No way. He even turned around and looked at him. That's why he started shooting, because he turned around, but he didn't see him, and he started shooting, and he's not able to find the shots. 12 on the board now for FGCU, as UTD is looking to get another eco round through. Corey, I think my prediction of 16-12 might not come to fruition at this point.
Well, you got to stand by it. I thought you were gonna lean into it.
I'm trying to jinx it.
I think you're just trying to. It's okay. It's okay.
Corey, I want to use your saying and then go against it. What kind of person do you think I am?
Well.
Actually, don't answer that question. Let's just continue into this round.
All right, now they've got working there through the connector. There's Parker. Now they're pushing out. Oh, and they line into that. Oh my goodness, Alloy. He's actually the one with the 5.7 that's doing the work. He's the magician. And Death Hood right there with them. And finally, he's going to fall. Alloy is going to be rotating around now. And that's good. Terra's his Terra is right here by himself. LMS and tap. And he's down to 52 HP. Picks up the AK now. He's going to try to be able to come back and watch his choke point, but he's trying to work his way in there. Oh, they spot him. They know exactly where he's at. Going to continue to allow him to push away. You're going to use this intel. They can either chase after him or work together. And they're going to work together. Alloy, YKZ. They've both got AKs. No armor, no kit. So we have it here. See if they can be able to hold it down. That firebomb's going to slow them down even further. He's going to peek out over the top. That smoke grenade's going to just basically delay them anyway. So I would have just waited for the molly to go away. As he's creeping around the corner, but he has made it over to Bank. They haven't checked all the timing. And there you go, Alloy picking it up. And here comes the defuse.
What did I tell you, Corey? Not a doubt in my mind. It's going 16-12. I knew it.
You just jinxed it again.
No, I didn't jinx it, Corey.
You just jinxed it
There's no
again.
such thing as a double jinx.
All right, we'll find out.
We will find out, as it is looking to be in their favor. And this is how it happened. They pushed out with their backs turned, as Alloy is able to pick up 2 quickly, and it's now match point here for UTD on Overpass, our favorite map. And this will be the last of we see of group play if UTD is able to close it out. All
right, here we have it. So we we've got AK's head armor coming out here for FGCU. Got the full gamut coming across the board for UTD. They've dropped the bomb over in playground. And do we wait? Do we see it? Do we see Parker getting boosted again?
Look at Deathhood, so confident, still playing from that position. And look, they're going to boost again. They're going to boost, and they're going to find Deathhood, and this time he's looking for it.
Just doesn't hit the shot.
Does not. That could have been a nice advantage for them, as Parker looks like he wants to try to spray through the smoke. He's not. They're going to go back and get the bomb. They're going to try to reset. We've got 1 minute left. And Corey, it has been true to that 2-round splits every single time, I believe. As El Dafo's get picked up as Parker pokes out, and Deathhood's actually finally able to take advantage of that fight, and he wins it.
Yeah, YKZ is going to have to hold this one down, at least getting 1 or 2. He's got the 1. Tries to get the second one, not going to happen. Bomb is going to get planted here inside the bomb site. And they've got it planted for bathrooms. 2 on 3. One player over there towards long. That's Wad. Wad's challenging it. He wants to even it up, and he does. Wad's going to fire off Bank again. That's going to force his hand to be able to push out even further now. He wants to be able to pick up the AK. Sir Tricks. And they've given up long, and they peek out on him, and Wad wins that gunfight. And there you have it. You jinxed yourself. There is a such thing as a double jinx. 15-13 in favor of UTD.
Corey, I've been saying this whole time it's 16-14 in favor of UTD.
That is not what you said.
Yeah, it is. Corey, you just sometimes I think you misunderstand what I'm trying to tell you.
Probably for good reason.
Well, there's always tomorrow. You could try again then. So Corey, we've not seen overtime yet. And every time we get close to overtime, it ends 16-14. Will this be the time? As YKZ finds a nice pickup there on Defia.
Yeah, UTD's playing for this next round, so they're not trying to win it right now. Of course, they'd like to, but they're not trying to. They bought just enough so for them to be able to buy completely for this next round. It's left up to YKZ. Bomb will get planted inside of the A bomb site. That is going to take us into our, here in a second, will take us into our final round of the second half. And YKZ would have liked to have that AK going into this next one. All right. Ooh, Sir Trick. Oh, goodness, there's several players that are hurting on money. And, yeah, they're playing for the... A few of them were buying Deagles and buying some other thing that I was just not expecting. And going into this one, all right, FGCU, I guess they realized, it's like, wait a minute. We need this round. And so they're taking these next 30 seconds to figure out what they want to do. 45, you want to include the freeze time.
I think there's no better time to really take a timeout. Your back's against the wall. You're on elimination point for the last, what was it, 3 rounds?
It's been a bit, yeah, 3.
Like 3 or 4 rounds now, and
probably 4.
You've got to win 1 more ahead of you, and you know that your opponents have some weaponry. Now we see the AWP in the hands of Alloy. We haven't seen that yet, I believe, and so if you are on the side of FGCU, that's probably something that you're calling out is, guys, just take it slow, be careful, let's not get too over-aggressive in some cases. Let's pick the fights that we want and make them play our game. As we're seeing a B stack now, and that's an opening from Faya. Now they're getting aggressive. The bomb is behind them. They got 3 players on the side. Parker's able to find one, but gets taken down in return. Faya still pushing forward on that side as YKZ is going to find him. We're in a 2v3 now, Corey. It is in the favor of FGCU. We're inching closer to overtime.
Yeah, Alloy needs to get over there fast because that needs to be able to help support his teammate. As they're right around the corner. Now, YKZ should be able to watch himself on short B while Alloy's going to give him some cover fire there. As they're going to have to delay it a little bit further. And peeking out, he's going to continue to wrap. He shouldn't have wrapped.
They have time.
And so now the bomb is going into the bomb site, and Alloy is going to have to try to be able to do something here. We may see our first overtime here in this tournament. And they're both going to wrap away. He's going to make a decision here. Neither one of them peeked him out. And so he's making the assessment already. He can assume that they're both here.
He does not have a kit.
And he needs to switch. He should have switched his weapon as well. Yep, that round We are going into an overtime. Wow.
Look at that, 10-5, 5-10. I guess that's how you, of course, that's how you get into overtime. Duh. I guess I meant it more sense in that FGC was able to willpower their way. And look at Parker sitting on top of the server with 33. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just now tuning in, we are seeing our first overtime here at the U.S. Army Presents Reload Collegiate CSGO Tournament. Invitational, I was close.
You're almost there.
Almost there. It's on the screen. I just decided not to read it. Tried to go from memory, and that's what I get as Sir Trix. 11 kills for himself. Hasn't had the mightiest of games, but we are in overtime. Everything is new game.
Yeah, these
It's
are basically
a fresh start.
3 gun rounds back to back to back. We follow suit with the same rule sets as ESL, ECL, so forth. You know, it's a 16K, 3 rounds, and then you swap.
It's a best of 6. Is that no? It's
3 round half, so
yeah.
first to 4.
First to 4 and a total of 6. Because if you can go 3 and 3 and then you reset again.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah, I've had a hard time trying to explain that to people because my mind thinks best of blank. Here we go.
Absolutely not best of, just halves.
Yeah.
All right, Deathhood has fallen again. I think Deathhood started off really, really, really strong, and then these latter rounds, he's been getting picked apart by Parker over the top of that wall. And Sir Trix, though, right. Oh, good trade, though. Adolfo does pick it up. It's down to a 3-on-1 now.
And if you're UTD, this is the round you wish you had. Just 1 round to go, but that's how the cookie crumbles sometimes, and that's how overtime works. We're now at 16-15. The magic number here is 19. The team that reaches 19 first wins. If we see 18s on both sides, then we'll see a double overtime. And it continues from there. UTD able to get the first on the board for themselves.
That's kind of interesting is a few of the players did not buy head armor from the previous round. $350 is not going to break your bank when you start off with 16K. So, it is what it is. They did pick up the round, so it doesn't make a difference. Oh, completely blind, who's played super aggressive was Alloy. Great flashbang coming out from Wad as greatness peeks out on it. And already they start at a disadvantage. As YKZ is trying to toss his own flash out for himself. And YKZ and Adolfo going to hold down the A-bomb site while you've got Sir Trix and Deathhood watching here towards B. And they're, oh goodness, are they already, they pulled him pretty quick. And that kind of pulled him out of position. Now they're already over here towards inside the bomb site. Faya is going to go down. So does Parker. But the bomb is really heading over here towards the other bomb site. Can they lock it down? Quick little flick, but it's not going to be enough in time. YKZ's got himself 2. 50 seconds, tons of time on the board, but it's only 19 HP here for greatness. Bomb is dropped. And there it's going to do it. Sir Trix just says, you know what, YKZ, just take a moment. I got this. 17-15 in favor of UTD. 1 round left in this overtime half. And so we'll see if UTD can win 3 straight before we flip here.
Hey, Corey, remember when you said we would wrap up early today? And then overtime happens. You couldn't call it any better. As we see, UTD's 1 round away, and Alloy actually this time taking it over greatness. Saw that nice flash grenade. Assisting greatness to getting Alloy, but he's taking vengeance. As now we see some action going towards sandbags. As Adolfo's found Parker, the server kill leader is. We see Fire just on the other side waiting.
As soon as that smoke goes away, we're about to have a quick gunfight. And Adolfo's there.
Oh, you can see the bullets just tailing behind as Terra is able to win that one. It's a 2v2. And they're split. And he was playing from heaven. He can no longer. He jumps down. He wants to get aggressive onto this bomb site. They don't push towards the site, and you saw that he's trying to just be aggressive, delay it so his teammate can get in, but he wants to do the work himself. He finds one on the Terra, and his teammates made it there.
They're both watching the same position. They're both watching the same angle as they continue to creep here. And goodness, that luckily it took long enough for Wad to push around. So 18-15 is going to end up, so 3 rounds going in overtime. Now they'll swap sides, and we'll do it again. Let's see. All that UTD needs is 1 more round.
We said that before. I think it was 15-11. It was either 15-11 or it was 15-12, and we saw it there, and they were not able to close it out as FGCU went on a nice little tear and picked it up for themselves as we see the AWP coming out of the 2 players.
It's because you
Faya
jinxed it.
and Parker.
All right. YKZ down below here. Bomb carriers, again, this is the default setup for what we've seen from both teams. And right now you got Alloy. He's accompanied by a teammate. More than likely, I believe it is Death Hood. As they are spread all throughout the map, just hoping they can find that first opening. You can see that Faya and Parker both bought ops. They realize that if they lose this round, it's over. So they are fully committing to this round. Now, buying that much can really make an impact going into the next one, but you're only focused on this next round here. Wad leverages Parker's flashbang, and pushing through the smoke with Sir Trix. He almost got Wad. He's now down to 7 HP. And Greatness is still just holding this angle. He's got his teammate Terror giving him some cover here. So now Greatness is going to turn around, support it, and then you get traded quickly after. As the bomb is making its way towards the B bomb site, going to get planted here, and Death Hood's going to challenge it. He challenges it at the right time. He picks up 2, and that's what you want. And it could be all she wrote, but you've got Faya who's left alive here, and he takes out another one. It's left up to Sir Trix now. Sir Trix over there towards, and he's going to go ahead and go for the defuse. Here comes the grenade. That grenade's going to go right into the right action. 19-15, and that's going to do it, giving it up to UTD. As they fight their way in the overtime, it could have ended a lot sooner than that, but you got to give it out to FGCU, not just throwing in the towel. They kept fighting, and they pushed us into an overtime, but then UTD able to win the final 4 rounds of the game.
You know, Corey, if you subtract 4 from me, oh my gosh, I just messed up my math.
Words.
That bad. Holy cow. I was going to say it was going to end up being 16-12, and it,
it's okay. Just let it go.
Yeah.
It's all right. Moving on. So, man, we've seen some really fun games today. Seeing FGCU fight their way back, trying to see if they can do what they can do. They lost to UTD the first time too, right? On map number 1 on Nuke. Then after that, we saw them defeat UTA to then try to continue this battle against Texas series, but then UTD is now made it into the playoffs, and they will now be the team that will be facing off against RMU. But some crazy games. UTD, of course, they played against Kansas State earlier, which felt like yesterday now, just on how some of these games go sometimes.
Oh, yeah, that was today. Holy cow.
Yep.
And we talked to Penguin, and we had the drawing. And you're right.
This all happened today.
You are right. And, Corey, the number I was looking for was actually 3 and not 4, but
yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
So that's gonna do it for there. But you know, kind of looking at what we've seen from this group play has just been. We've learned a lot about all of these teams, and it really gives me a lot of hope for seeing what's going to happen tomorrow. We've talked about it time and time again. It's like May 5th. That's the time. That's when we start, and that's tomorrow. We're currently scheduled to start at noon tomorrow. We'll have a couple games that will probably get adjusted a little bit differently as we take a look at the upper bracket as now everything has been filled out. There you have it. Robert Morris University will be facing off against University of Texas at Dallas. That will be our first matchup of the day. Noon is what it's currently scheduled as. Then after that, we've got in our next matchup after that one. Will be UConn versus Michigan Tech University. Following the next matchup will be VCU facing off against Drexel. Then you have Kennesaw U as well as Purdue. Then Rochester Institute of Technology versus the University of Alabama Huntsville for our 5th match of the day. That one will definitely be changed on its time. We'll continue to adjust to be able to accommodate for some of these teams. Certain states have kind of opened up their laws as well, which means people will have the opportunity to work. So we'll continue to look at those. Now, on the bottom side of this bracket, you can see Northeastern is going to be facing off against Pitt. University of Central Florida will be playing Miami University of Ohio. And then last but not least, we will see Kansas State face off against St. Clair College. John, what are some of the matches that you're looking forward to seeing?
I'm really curious to watch Northeastern. We saw them yesterday. They were doing absolutely fantastic in that series. Rascal looking great with that 4K headshots only for the Deagle. I think their team play, everything overall, I had a good time interviewing Rascal as well. Just a very humble person, very mature for his age, being a freshman. And, you know, that speaks volumes to me, is that his whole team is probably on that same level, which means they're very structured, short and to the point of, this is how we're going to do this. This is how we're going to do that. Not trying to overthink things, not trying to get too above themselves, not even flaring egos, because he could have come into that interview and just said to us, dude, I'm sick, I'm crazy, I got 4K, clip it, you know, and we didn't see that at all. We saw the flip side, and I think that's wonderful, something like that to see. So a team like Northeastern, I'm absolutely keeping my eye on, as well as a team like UConn. I remember watching them from day number 2, just a plethora of utility from them.
Yep. Tomorrow's going to be fun. We're going to see some pretty good matches starting tomorrow. We've narrowed all of our teams down from 28 teams to 16. Man, John, it's crazy to even think we've gotten here. I mean, we've done a lot of commentary. We've been 8 days straight of commentary for group play as we start to get into our playoffs. And you know, all of this has been possible. We've had a lot of help from a bunch of individuals across the board, and one of which has been Adolfo, who's just now joining us from UTD. Adolfo, first, thank you for everything that you've helped out with, but secondly, congratulations for making it into the playoffs.
All right, thank you, appreciate it. Yeah, it's been a good time, you know, helping out, setting up with all the teams. I know it was went through a lot of difficulties and also went through a lot of trials, but at the end we managed to get 28.
Yeah, so as we look at it, let's talk a little bit about your first matchup of the day. You played against Florida or versus FGCU the first time. How'd that match feel? It was a little bit different than what we saw this past round.
Yeah, the first time when we played with ASOS, I felt a lot more controlled, I think, since we've played all our matches together for basically the entire season. So we already knew kind of how we played with each other and how we traded with each other. So it felt a lot more controlled compared to this last Overpass matchup.
Yeah, so we of course Death Hood had to substitute in for ASOS going into your last series. Talk me through. We'll talk a little bit about the negatives for a second, and then we'll go back to the positives in the end. So Kansas State, kind of talk me through your lens of how you thought that map went.
We played them on Nuke, but this time but this time they started on CT side, so it was our time to show kind of what we had on T side, and I think they really countered us well. Because on the last time it was basically the same scoreline, 12-3 half on CT. Yep. So they didn't really see our T side only for like a few good rounds. So they didn't really see how we played. And we also haven't had a lot of practice on Nuke recently. So we're kind of new, or not new, but kind of rusty on it. And I don't know. I think some of our players kind of just didn't hit enough shots, to be honest. I know I was killing a few, but then I noticed when I spectated that, you know, they just weren't, I guess, as warm as Kansas State as they had of that match beforehand.
Right.
So I think it's kind of like a combination of those two.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, you know, you want your entire team to be playing well. I mean, Aloe was having a tough time on the T side,
yeah,
and then he was able to find his way back later on in the game. So, not trying to call him out, it's just one of those things that happens with time.
It happens. This happened with me for sure, like throughout the season. So seeing him kind of be down there really sucked, especially since he's been having a really good season as well.
Yeah, and it talks about the character of a player as well whenever they're able to come back. I mean, let's talk about the positives now. You guys played against FGCU again, and then we saw Alloy come out of the woodwork and make some really awesome shots as well to be able to help support the rest of the team. So, Adolfo, talk me through a little bit about the final series, and especially let's talk about the fact that you had the lead. You're up 15-11, I believe. And you're like fighting your way. You're just trying to get one more round, and you just couldn't get it until the overtime.
Yeah, I realized a lot on our CT side that our money got broken quite a few times, so we had to do a few force buys, and I think we won like maybe 1 or 2 of those, so that kind of helped. But I think on our gun rounds, since we had to play with the sub on our B side holds, we weren't really as coordinated together. We weren't like flashing for each other, peeking at the same time, trading once they actually came in. I think a few times also Death Hood got killed while they were boosting from water.
Correct. Yep.
So yeah,
Several
so
times.
a lot of the times we were in a 4v5 situation early on in the round, so that definitely didn't help us. Especially once we got to that 15, I think we just made a lot of our own mistakes. But credit to them, they were hitting a lot of shots towards the end as well.
Yeah, absolutely. No, so I think the way that you guys adapted in for the overtime, that really did make a difference there. So, Adolfo, kind of talk us through, how long has the team been together for UTD?
So for this iteration, we started together the same five. So we've been playing ever since basically September. That's when our tryouts were. That's when we formed the team, and we've played through 2 different online tournament seasons. And yeah, I think we have like a lot of experience, especially in the CSL playoffs. We got into the lower bracket early on. After we lost the first round, so we had to fight to the lower bracket. We managed to win 8 best-of-3s in a row, so
Wow.
we're pretty proud of that, and we got a lot of experience to that as well. Just playing together.
Absolutely. So kind of talk me through was, well, have you guys, you've wrapped up your school year yet, or you got exams this week or next week?
We still have exams this week and coming up, but this should be our last week of school.
Well, best of luck with that, too. And, of course, I know I'll be talking with you time and time again. John, have any questions for Adolfo?
Yeah, Adolfo, I got 2 questions for you. So first one being, obviously, we've been talking to you for quite a while, specifically Corey. So I just want to know, what are your thoughts of working with Corey? You can be as honest as you want to be.
Yeah, I mean, we know, or at first I wasn't sure, or I didn't really have any background information on Corey. So after I met him and he kind of told me like who he was and what he's worked with before, that kind of pushed me a little bit back because I didn't realize he had so much experience in the CS scene, especially professionally. So, but once we were able to come up with a partnership, or any CCS and esports stadium were able to come up with a partnership, I knew they were gonna do really good things, and I was just trying to kind of be a bridge for both of them and be as helpful as I could.
Absolutely. Now to jump into the server for those last few rounds there, or for the last map really on Overpass, we saw that Death Hood played essentially what we saw in ASOS, almost exactly the same play styles. Namely, we saw him go to like the B site when the rest of the team would go on like the A through restrooms, and we saw that ASOS did essentially the same exact things when you were on Overpass the first time. So was that something that you told him to do, or is that something that you just said, hey, just go find something and go play your own play style, or is that, how did that shake out with him versus ASOS?
Yeah, it's actually in our first Overpass game, usually he goes towards A a lot on our defaults. But this game we're kind of trying to switch it up and see maybe something else would work a little bit better. Just because in our last Overpass match we didn't win it, so we're just kind of see. But usually we don't really talk a lot about kind of what our setups are. We just kind of, once we have a setup going, we try to practice as much as we can and play it a lot, since we don't have a lot of time to scrim outside of school, work, and all that. And also they're on other ESEA teams and whatnot. So we just kind of try to change it up a little bit, try not to be too vanilla. And a lot of time when I like to call, I just kind of let them do their own thing, try to find picks on their own. I don't want to be too, constrained, because obviously ASOS is a really good player, so I don't want to tell them what to do.
For sure. Adolfo, last comments. What do you got for me?
I'm just glad to be in the playoffs. Obviously, we're playing RMU next, so it's gonna be a big, tough match for us. We're trying to see how we can come out.
Awesome. Adolfo, thank you not only for a good game there, the good series there, but congratulations for making it into the second position there out of this group. And good luck to you facing off against RMU tomorrow. You'll be kicking off the day as it stands right now. So thanks to you again.
Yeah, thanks.
I appreciate you, Adolfo. So, John, lots of fun Counter-Strike these past 8 days. We've seen some a lot. We learned a lot about a bunch of different players. The list goes on and on and on. You've mentioned Rascal. We talked about Austin. We've mentioned we saw Pure Penguins before. There's been just the list just goes on and on and on and on. So
and even on the first day we saw Com, and he's not even in the tournament anymore on Texas A&M,
yep.
dropping 42 on that
yep.
very first map on Mirage. And I thought we were going to see a lot more of that in this tournament just because we started that strong.
You want to know something that's really, we had if we had our own bingo board that was laid up right here, we would have crossed off the team ace, and then we've now also crossed off the overtime. And so we've had a whole gamut of types of different things that could happen.
We even had a Zeus today.
We had a Zeus today as well. So we've had a
collateral scout shot as well.
We did have a collateral scout shot. We did.
Someone else going bingo.
No, we've basically touched base of every part of Counter-Strike that you can kind of think of. So that just means it's time. It means it's time. We're ready to see what's going to happen in this double elimination playoff bracket. John, any final words before we wrap up for today?
Well, we only saw 3 maps today, and Mirage, Nuke, and Overpass, and that's kind of been the name of the game. So my final thoughts as we wrap up the group stages is I'm very curious to know if the maps will stay the same in playoffs. Just because there's a different dynamic when you're just trying to fight and scrap your way out of groups, where you're basically, you have no knowledge about the other teams other than if it's like an RMU, someone you know is nationally recognized to some extent. But for some of these lower teams, you really have no idea. It's kind of a crapshoot. And so when you're going into these maps, you're thinking, what are we most comfortable with? What do we think they might not be? Versus you have the information of, okay, when RMU does this, we've seen them play this match. They do this hit, that hit, this hit. Like, for instance, UTD, we saw 4 maps of them today. If someone's watching UTD, RMU, another example, if they're watching them today, we saw Overpass and Nuke out of them. And Mirage, I think, is what we saw. Yes, we saw Mirage. So it's like 3 good maps they saw out of UTD there. And there was many times where they could call out a strategy. Okay, we can work towards that tomorrow. Maybe we want to ban that. Maybe we don't want to ban that. I think we'll see a lot more strategic maps going into playoffs versus just kind of this, you know, the cookie cutter of Overpass and Mirage, which is just kind of come the meme at this point. But with that said, I think we might also see a few more nerves as we get there. Once we start getting closer in some portions of the bracket, I think to start off the day, some players might be a little bit slower to kick off just because they're reminding themselves, well, we made it out of brackets, and now we're against the real competition. There might be a little bit more of a mental game against them. Now, this is a better team that we know about. This isn't, for instance, some teams who played against Oklahoma State and saw the 16-0. They might be like, oh, this could be so easy. It could be so much of a easy match for us. Now they're going into like, oh, okay, we've got a chip on our shoulder already. We know what this team looks like, and we already know how we feel going into this.
Sure. I think the other side of it, too, is we've had some teams that have been playing. They haven't played in over a week in our tournament. Of course, they've probably been playing video games because that's about the only thing you can do in shelter in place.
Valorant.
Yeah, no, I said video games. So that's what you could expect. So you got some teams that are just have been waiting to see who they're playing against. You got others that just found out who they are, you know, that they've made it into the tournament. So with that said, let's take a look at all of these matches that we have tomorrow. This is the playoffs. So we've got our 16 teams again, May 5th through May 10th. In the very first round, upper round 1, we've got RMU, Rob Morris University versus University of Texas at Dallas. We've got UConn. They'll be facing off against Michigan Tech University. That will be our second match. VCU versus Drexel. We got Kennesaw, who's facing off against Purdue. The upper round 1E is also going to be Rochester Institute of Technology versus University of Alabama in Huntsville. Following that matchup, we got Northeastern and Pitt. University of Central Florida and Miami University of Ohio. And then last, we've got Kansas State versus St. Clair College. All of these times and things will all adjust as we see fit, but currently our start time tomorrow is noon. We should be kicking it off with RMU and UTD. Wow, that's a good-looking list. So thank you all for who've been tuning in throughout these past 8 days. It only gets better from here. We've got our 16 teams defined, and we'll see who's going to come out on top at the end on May 10th. That's it for Corey Dunn, myself, and Jonathan O. right here from Esports Stadium Arlington. And special thanks to the production team who've made it all possible thus far. We'll have more Counter-Strike Global Offensive tomorrow right here from Esports Stadium Arlington.